Hello, all you YouTubers out there, please go watch Bryant Little TV. Comment on their videos; they are very funny videos. Or if you like Call of Duty War and Nazi Zombies, go to type in Destructor267 to watch videos and glitches. Thank you.